Hey, how's it going, folks? Thank you for watching. This here is going to be a video for the Cat's Eye private server Final Fantasy XI, a new player guide. This will answer many frequently asked questions and give you an overview of what this private server is all about. So I'm going to go over several of the features of the website and give you lots of tips about how to navigate it and what to do with it and how useful it can be, and just give you some general new player guide frequently asked questions. So here we go. First, in order to sign up, you need to go to connect and then download, and it'll send you two files, or you'll be asked to download two files. You need to make sure that both files are downloaded and in the same location, and just click on the executable file and it'll start to download the process. And here's a button here for Discord. And here's a button here for the Wiki, Bazaar, Crafters, Vision, and Account. So let's just take it through here. Wiki will be a guide for several of your questions will be answered on the Wiki. You should probably check out the Wiki before you ask a question in LS Chat or Discord, because it's probably there anyway. It's also useful just to have a reference to. Bazaar here, you can click on Bazaar and all of the items being sold by different players are all on here. So instead of going into the game and trying to find the person, this is, let's see, if it's updated. I'm not sure how often it's updated. So maybe someone in the comments could answer me that, how often this is updated. Is it every hour or something? But you can basically check out all the different things people are selling and where they're located and their name, and you can go searching for them. So that's pretty cool. That is a feature that used to be on FinalFantasyAH.com, but I don't think it's working anymore. Crafters here is a list of all the crafters that have all those crafting skills. So you can go, and if you need someone with level 70 bone craft, here are all your options. And some of them might not be playing anymore, but as you can see, there's lots of people with potential to help you out. And this vision here is just a kind of like a description of what the philosophy is of the game, of the private server here. So you can read over that if you like. And let's first check out the account button here. Now, right here is you'll need to, once you sign up with the game, you'll create a username and password. It's the same username and password as when you sign up with the game. It's the same for the account here. So let me go into that. Alright, so here I am. This is my character. It just kind of gives you an overview like currently what you are. Right now I'm not logged in, but last time I was logged in I was a 14 Summoner Red Mage. And this is the characters you can have. You can have, in this private server, you can have two characters. You can either have one main character with a alternate character, and you can play together with yourself basically, or you can have one main character with one mule. Basically two characters per IP address. If you need special permission to have like maybe a family member play with you, and then they each have their own two characters, you have to get special permission from a GM for that, and just basically just like tell them your case, and they'll address it and take note or do whatever they do to approve or disapprove or whatever that is. But you can go and click on your skills, and then here's what I'm working on now, or what I have maxed out or capped out or anything. Here's some spells that I currently have. I can just, if I wanted to go and see what spells I have from when I'm not in the game. Inventory, here's my inventory right now. Jobs I have leveled. Currencies. Yep. And delivery box. I'm not sure, this button doesn't seem to be working, so I'm not sure if that's supposed to tell you what you have currently. But anyway, so that is the home of this section here of the account, this portion of the website. If you go to weather, you can see what's going on in the weather here. You can see what chances of weather are happening for different zones of the game. If you were to do a Control F and do a find water. Well, let's see. Actually, if I'm looking for water, say for my Black Mage AF gear for Crawler's Nest, I want to go to Crawler's Nest, and so it looks like there's no rain or happening in Crawler's Nest anytime soon. So if you want to do the Black Mage AF quest for that, then you're out of luck for the moment. That's just an example. And there's Auction House here, and you can see what's on the auction house right now. I think the price here is like the average price of average selling price. Let's check out brown belt. Okay, so brown belt looks like there might be 3 on the AH right now, and the average price is 100,000 gil. So there you go. You can check the auction house when you're not in game. Also, item search. This one is crucial here. This one is going to be very, very important for whenever you're researching what you want to do in the game. Say you want to find what drops best for the samurai testimony. So I put in some sort of search term there, testimony here, and I get all the testimonies here. I want to find out what Sam testimony here. Looks like Yugudo Templar in the Castle of La Troya has the best chance to drop it right here. But the Yugudo Templar, for example, only has like 1 or 2 pops, and that's like the way back, like throne room basically of Castle La Troya. And chances are, I mean, you could get it with that, but you know, only 2 pops. You might have better luck, but a much lower drop rate for blood demons and gore demons in Castles of All. So there you go. You can check out any item really. If you want to see any details about an item specifically, let's check this out. Sirocco Kukri. There it is. Sirocco Kukri. So you can sell what the sellable price is for. You can see that it is sellable. The flags, this is the mystery box, meaning goblins will potentially give it to you out of the goblin mystery box. Inner delivery means you can send it within the same account from a mule back and forth to a mule or your main character. You can't auction it. You can equip it. No delivery meaning you can't send it to another account. EX, rare, you all know what that is. Level jobs and stuff like that. Also down here is some details about how the special edit effect works. The chances of the damage happening is 100%, and the actual damage of it is 9. So whatever that turns out to be in game, 9 damage. You could probably increase that with magic attack bonus and stuff like that. But it kind of gives you details about this, the latent effect or the hidden effects of items and that type of thing. All those details are here. Most importantly for me is the inner delivery, meaning because I have a mule, and if I were to get that from the goblin box on my mule, I could send it to my main character because it has inner delivery tag on there. So that means that any items that I get on my mule that have inner delivery, I can send to my main account. So there's cool. That's cool there. That's one benefit of having a mule instead of a second whole character. So let's go back to the main website here, and we're going to dive deep a little bit on the wiki page. Now here is the wiki page, and what a lot of questions answered could be right here. There's a lot of questions that you'll probably have that can be answered on the main page here. What works? You can see all the things that are currently working, all the missions that are currently working, in-game areas, jobs. Geomancer and Rune Fencer are actually in the game right now. So it was just recently added in the last week or so. Geomancer and Rune Fencer are available, and that's one of the only, I think maybe even the only private server that has Geomancer and Rune Fencer working. So it is scaled down for level 75, and because a lot of the AF gear and the relic gear for Geomancer and Rune Fencer they never had any level 75 gear, so they kind of did some custom gear for that, and that's pretty cool. In order to unlock Geomancer and Rune Fencer, you need to have access to the Mat Trust, and that means you have to have beat Mat on 6 different 75 jobs. That is before Treasures of Ottergan jobs, basically the Mat jobs. You have to beat them on 6 of those jobs, and at level 70 or 70 to 75 or so, and then you can unlock Rune Fencer and Geomancer. So let's go back here, and you got server information, just basically general overview of all the bonuses that are happening right now. You get these expansions here. Quality of life improvements for sure. Relics, the Sparks cap is 100,000. Starting gil is 50k. 80 slot bag automatically with 8 wardrobes. That's awesome, by the way. All maps unlocked. Wide scan available for all jobs. Home points refill HP and MP. Treasure caskets work. Goblin Mystery Box works, Fishing works, Outposts are enabled and all locked, Survival Guides enabled, you still have to go get them though, same thing with home points. Mounts are enabled, XP rate is 1.5, Records of Evidence XP rate is 1.75, that'll come in handy a little bit later when I talk about that, so keep that in mind. XP loss rate is normal, tabs accumulation from the Fields of Valor and Grounds of Valor is 5 times. That'll come in handy a little bit later on too. I'll tell you about that. Sparks accumulation rate 1.5. Cure power is good. Crafting max 110 for one single craft, and then subcrafts are 70. Crafting skill up chance is 2.0. Crafting skill success multiplier is 1.5. And skill up amount multiplier 1.5. Basically, when you level a craft, you minimum have when you do skill up, your minimum is 0.3, and then you can get up to 0.9 for a skill up in a craft. So it basically accelerates the skilling up crafting. And the reason you'd want to skill up craft is because when you get to crafting level 60, you get access to another trust. So you get access to a 4th trust. When you skill up to level 80 in a craft, you get to get a 2nd extra trust, so you'll have a full team of trusts when you get to crafting level 80. Also, when you craft up to level 100, you get access to a free relic weapon. That's right, a free relic weapon at crafting level 80. It's a way to promote crafting on this server. And here's some H&M details. Dynamis lockout, it says 1 hour, but you can pretty much go into Dynamis like repeatedly as many times as you want, back to back pretty much. So that's that page, that's the server information. Server rules. Basically the gist is, if you do anything that automates automates your processes, like window or Sheeta plugins, it automates anything process for you, like anything that could be considered like a bot is going to get you banned. Anything that causes you to any heavy cheating type of plugins, like ones that open doors automatically for you or increase your movement speed, or stuff like XP Watch and like a T Party, which basically shows your TP on the screen, and it's informational stuff. That's not bannable as far as I can tell. The stuff that just kind of gives you information about the game as you play, those are okay. And then you have a bunch of other stuff here. There is also a bunch of custom content, unlocking Geo and Rune Fencer, Geomancer Artifact Armor Quest, Geomancer Magic Shop. You can go through all these and check all those out. Oh, I forgot to mention, the Destrier Beret and the Chocobo shirt are available at the Curio Moogle. So Unity is also activated on this private server. You can go into Unity and get Aparuru. I believe Aparuru is the only current working Unity trust, but also she's the best, so that's fine. You still, just like in retail, must get 5,000 accolades within a conquest period, which is within like 1 week, and then she'll automatically show up in your account. A lot of people will say they got 5,000 and then she doesn't show up. Well, it probably just means like some of the bonuses may not have counted towards the $5,000 credit, accolade credit. So basically, just keep going. She'll automatically show up in your list of spells as soon as you get the appropriate 5,000. When it comes to making gil, you're going to want to spend your Records of Eminence sparks, your Sparks of Eminence, on Elm Poles. So right now, Elm Poles are the best gil per sparks option you have for sparks. You can sell them for about 4,500 gil, I think, maybe a little bit less, and they only cost 80 sparks. So you can load up and buy, it basically amounts to like hundreds of these elm poles that you have to buy to sell. And if you do an entire batch of 100,000 sparks, it'll give you 5.7 million gil. Of course, it takes a really long time. Check out this little video here about me doing a trick for you. So I'm going to go to skill increasing tomes. I'm going to go select one of them, and I'm going to go buy one that has like multiple of it. So just to show you how it works, I'm going to just choose 3. I'm not going to make the exchange. I'm going to say no and not leave the whole menu. Just go back and then go into the item that I want, which is the next page, Elm Pole. The Elm Pole right now is kind of said to be the best sparks per gil, or gil per sparks. And when I go to make the exchange, because I selected the 3 of the skill up books, it's going to give me that number of poles. You can do 36, but your inventory is only so big. You can do 12 and just do a bunch of times, but you can go elm pole, and buy as many as you can hold. Just out of curiosity, I'm going to go back out of this and see if I can change it on the fly to 12. Not make the exchange. Go back into the item I want, which is elm pole. Will it then be 12? It'll be 12. It's not going to let me do 12 because I don't have enough space for it. But that is a trick to buy them fast. There is not, however, a trick to sell them fast, as far as I know. Crafting rewards additional trust and free relic weapon. As I said before, at level 60 craft, you get an extra trust. At level 80, you also get an extra trust. At level 100, you get a free relic weapon. And you can also, by the way, if you decide to change your mind about that relic weapon, you can trade 5 million gil and the relic weapon, and basically just change your relic weapon for 5 million gil. The process for that I haven't done yet, so I can't say exactly how to do that, but it's in here. The process for changing relic weapons is here. Exchanging relic weapons right here. Yep. All right. So down here is custom commands. The AH command will let players exchange 5,000 tabs for very powerful buffs that last 2 hours. Regain, regen, refresh, and haste. That is super useful for when you want to do your weapon skill trial weapons, when you're unlocking weapon skills. However, keep in mind that if you have any version of haste, refresh, regen, or regain on your character right now, on like an actual buff, this exclamation AH, this helping hand basically, will not overwrite what you already have. So you want to make sure you take off those buffs already, so then when you do the AH, when you enable it, when you activate it, it will give you the fresh 2-hour version of that that'll last 2 hours. The exclamation Mog, that allows you to have access to your Mog house basically while you're in any city. That includes Norg and Rebeo and Selbina and Mahora and all the major cities. You can change your sub job and main job there. You can check your inventory. You can move things back and forth, stuff like that. I don't think it gives you access to storage, but everything else I believe it does give you access to. Where is DI? That gives you that player updates on where domain invasion is happening right now. Dawn Unstuck releases players from a stuck event in CLP 8.4 Dawn. So if you get stuck on a cutscene or something like that, then you kind of just do that command to kind of put yourself out of it. The chef here, this allows you. This can be used anywhere, by the way, and you can. These prices are wrong, by the way. These prices, I know the behemoth stick is only 5K right now, so that needs to be updated. But anyway, this gives you access to a sellable, to like a sellable menu, so you can go and sell junk, so you don't have a full inventory, but also buy food if you happen to leave where you are and not have any food with you. Signet here, that's what it says. It grants an effective signet for the players. Grants sigil, same thing. Sanction, same thing. And when it comes to sigil, that's pretty cool. It gives you all the bonuses for the allied notes when you do that. And the sanction, I don't believe sanction actually gives you because when you get sanction from the NPC, it gives you the option of the bonus you want. I don't think it gives you gives you any sort of bonus there. But with sigil, it gives you all the bonuses stacked together. So there you go. And here we go. Curio Vendor Moogles. These right here are in Port Sandoria, Port Bastock, and Port Windhurst. They give you access to several items. There's ammo items, there's keys. You get all the chest keys, not the coffer keys are available, but the chest keys are available. There's ammo, there's food, there's several trusts you can buy. There is the trusts of note you should think about buying are Koromoru, Kupofried, Leko, Haboka, and Koltada for sure. And there's several other ones there too. They cost anywhere from 250k gil up to 750k, but gil comes pretty fast in this, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. Definitely want to get Koromoru, Kupofried. Leko is a black mage sub thief. And because he has Sub Thief, he does have Treasure Hunter. I was told by a GM that he does have Treasure Hunter, so that's cool. Koltada is that Corsair that gives you Corsair's roll and all the special rolls. So those are definitely some crucial ones to get when you're leveling. And here's login campaigns. The Greeter Moogles, which are the login campaign NPCs, they're in Windhurst Walls, Port Sandoria, Port Bastock. So the real-life day change happens the same time as the Japanese midnight does currently. So right now, during the summer, on the East Coast, it'll be 11 a.m. When we go back and when daylight saving time ends, then it'll be 10 a.m. on the East Coast of the U.S. So that's when the game day changes. Sorry, that's when the real-life day changes. That is also the login points for the month start on the first here, not like the 10th or the 11th or something like that, like in retail. So and we basically get 500 points for the first day and 200 points for each subsequent day. And we get points throughout the month, not just like for 21 days or something like that in retail. Also keep in mind that only 1,500 points will carry over into the next login campaign. So if you have 2,000 points when the next login campaign starts, you will only carry over 1,500 of those. So several of the items will repeat when it comes to between login campaigns, but most of the time, mostly the good items, the ones that are cost the higher amounts, will change month to month. It's usually on a several month rotation. So this month in particular, you can choose the Ochimusha coat or the Emperor's hairpin, or a lot of those kind of those famous NM drops, Leaping Lizzie boots, that type of thing. Those are available right now for 1,500 login points, but those ones, the higher ones, the 1,500 ones, will change month to month for sure. Last month, for example, offered the Bushi no Mimi ring, like the Divine Might earring and the Apocalypse and Eye earrings, but those are no longer available for the 1,500 points because that went away. Also, when you're starting out, the clusters that are available on the login Moogle are 10 points each. It might seem tempting to get these clusters, and when you're just starting off and leveling your craft and really want to get your access to your trusts, it might be worth it the first month to spend some of the login points on clusters. But be careful, because that can go away fast, and login points are pretty invaluable. There are a lot of special items you can't get very easily are going to show up, or get it at all actually, are going to show up on login points only, so be careful of spending too much. So let's go over a few miscellaneous tips. The auction house is auto-stocking, and it refreshes every 3 hours. So if there's a particular item that is auto-stocked, it should refresh every 3 hours. And basically some of those, for example, some of those auto-stocking items are the ones needed for crafting tier upgrades. So when you get to level 8 or 18 or 28 of a craft, it'll ask you for an item to upgrade yourself to the next tier, basically to have access to go beyond level 10 and 20 and 30, for example. And those items that are being requested are usually auto-stocked, so keep in mind when you don't necessarily have to make them, just check on the AH and you should be able to get them. And the price is pretty much static for those items. When it comes to crafting, cooking is probably the cheapest and the easiest to get your level 60 and level 80, and maybe even take up to level 100 for your free relic. That's the one I did, and I found myself only spending maybe 500,000 gil just to do all that. I had to, at the end, go farm up some dragon fruits myself, because they weren't very populous on the AH. So, but then once I got to level 100, I went ahead and kind of backed myself off to level 70 for that, so I could take another more useful craft up to 100. Another important tip, you can use usable items from your wardrobe. So if you have the Sprout Beret, which is definitely recommended for leveling up, the Sprout Beret can be used from within your wardrobe, so you don't have to keep it in your inventory and risk possibly dropping it or something. You can use it from your wardrobe. The Chocobo quest starts at level 20. You need to go to Upper Juno for that. And Mount also is done right after the Chocobo quest is completed. The Chocobo quest is reduced to a 1 minute in between exchanges, so that's cool. You're going to need some Gaussbit Wildgrass. You need 4 of them. And the way to find those easily is through I believe they're crane flies in Marifotod Mountains. So if you happen to be running to Juno from Windhurst, you can might as well grab those quick. You need 4 of those Gaussbit Wildgrasses from crane flies. Also, there are some bunnies in Dangarif Wadi that drop them, but I don't know specifically the drop rate. Actually, you know what? Let's go find out right now. How about that? Let's just use this as an example to go find out what the drop rate is for Gaussbit Wildgrass. Oh, I'm already logged on. Gaussbit Wildgrass. Okay, so the crane flies from Marifal Top Mountains have a 41% drop rate. Wadi hares have 16%, Prim picas have 16%. So it is definitely smarter to go get your crane flies, get your grass from the crane flies. Plus, that's right near Juneau anyway. So I definitely recommend doing that. They're also on the age. It's one of those auto-stockable items, but I think it only auto-stocks like 3. So either you camp the AH and get those quick, or just get them yourself. Also, when it comes to getting to Juneau, you don't necessarily have to walk all the way to Juneau. With the Unity warps are activated on this server. It is not a complete list for Unity warps. There's certain ones that are not available because certain expansions aren't available, but you can Unity warp right to Juneau, right outside the Juneau zone. If you warp to Battaglia Downs, that takes you right outside the Juneau zone, so you don't have to run. You will maybe have to leave out of Port Juneau and go through Solar Mode Campaign and get to Marifal Top Mountains to get your crane flies, but also all of the outpost warps are activated. So if you want to use your outpost warp to go to the Ragueneau region, which is Marifal Top Mountains, it puts you right at the outpost, which is right nearby the crane flies also. So I'm going to talk about leveling here quick, but before I do that, when you get to level 50, you want to do your your first limit break quest, and that involves the bomb coal, the ancient papyrus, and the Exore mold. You could do that the traditional way by killing the Exores or the bomb, or the explosures, or the liches in the appropriate zones, but you also can have the option of just getting the KIs, which is basically you need to go and find 3 question mark items, question mark spots, and then just click on them. Once you have the 3rd question mark item, it'll automatically combine into the item you need to trade. So you could do that solo. You don't necessarily have to go and get a group and fight those, but by that time you're probably okay with trusts anyway. But if you wanted to fight them, you could. Otherwise, if you wanted to just sneak up or invis up and just get those key items, then I would recommend doing that. Alright, so let's talk about leveling. There are, as I said earlier, there are XP bonuses, there are Records of Eminence bonuses, there are Fields of Valor and Grounds of Valor book pages, and the Sprout Beret and the EXP rings, the Emperor ring, the Chariot band, the Emperor band, the Empress band. All those are enabled. You're going to want to get those for sure. The Sprout Beret should just show up in your inventory when you start, but also the XP rings are just going to cost some conquest points. Keep in mind also with conquest points, you're going to want to make sure you buy a warp ring for 5,000 conquest points, but those will go pretty quick. So yeah, XP bonuses, Records of Eminence bonuses, and book pages, and the XP bonus items, those are all going to help you out leveling really fast. It's a pretty quick leveling in this game, but in this particular server anyway. But I would really recommend for sure keeping your Records of Eminence quest log full. I would recommend the crystal ones. That is, you get bonuses for getting 10 crystals. I'd recommend the next tier up, the elemental, not the ores, but the mini elemental ores, whatever they're called, the soil geodes. That's what it is, like geodes, like soil geodes or ice geodes or snow geodes, that type of thing. Once you get up to kind of like the mid-tier levels, you start getting those geode drops too, and those geodes will drop, and you only need 3 for completing each of those. But those all add up, they all stack up to a lot of bonus XP. Especially if, when it comes to those items dropping, you'll want to have a thief with you in the party, either be the thief yourself, or have maybe call Leko Haboka as one of your trusts, and he will add Treasure Hunter to your fights, and you'll get those rewards more often, and get XP more often. Also, there are particular XP or Records of Eminence quests that you can enable depending on which enemies you're fighting. So I would recommend if you're going to fight lizards, you'll want to definitely have that turned on for lizard skins. And let's just go back here. So if you want to go search for lizard skins, which is one of the bonus items, if you get 2 lizard skins, you complete Records of Eminence quest, and then you get some bonuses that way. So lizard skins here is a whole big list of all the things that drop lizard skins. So You could get lizard skins from probably, I would say probably every lizard in the game, but I'm not sure about that. But if you were looking here about the drop rates, war lizards and devoid drop at 30% of the time. Maze lizards and crawler's nest drop at 57% of the time. Labyrinth lizards and crawler's nest 97% of the time. And that means you could also get multiples, so you could complete that Records of Eminence quest like almost every kill probably. So crawler's nest and lizard skins enabled is one great way to get bonus XP just by setting the Records of Eminence quests. Also, there are Records of Eminence quests specifically for the Crawler's Nest region. So you can go in there and kill 10 monsters in the Crawler's Nest, and once you do, you get a bonus for that, and you get the lizard on top of that. And if they're dropping any crystals, you get that bonus too, and if they're higher level, you get the geode bonus. So all those stack up to a really fast leveling in this game. Also, another tip when it comes to leveling, there is an XP camp book. There's a I forget what it's called, XP. I'll put a picture of it here on the screen here. This is the XP guide or XP book. This is in Lower Juno, right at the auction house, and you go into this menu and you check out it teleports you right to the camp that people commonly use. So, for example, you might go and trade this book a certain amount of gil to go to Labyrinth of Zozo, or you might go and trade a certain amount of gil for another different camp. So check out that book, that could be really useful. Also, there is a special Records of Eminence event that happens 3 times a week. It's called Gain XP. And that basically is a limited time Records of Eminence quest that once you gain 5,000 XP, it gives you a bonus. In retail, it gives you a bonus of 1,500 XP. But in here, since the bonus is boosted, it gives you 1.5 times that, I guess. So I think it's like 2,500 or something like that, something around there. Every time you get 5,000 XP, it gives you a bonus of that amount of gil, or that amount of XP. So it's very popular on this server during the Gain XP duration, the limited time. It's a 4-hour window 3 times a week. And basically, if you really want to maximize your leveling, do it during Gain XP. That is Sunday morning, 7 a.m. to 11 a.m., Monday nights at 11 p.m. to 3 a.m., and Wednesday afternoons at 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. So those are the Gain XP times. They kind of have 1 or 2 options for everybody in case, depending on what time zone you are. By the way, those times work for Eastern Daylight Saving Time. Okay, so here's just some miscellaneous tips for when you're a little bit farther in the game. These are some advanced tips. BCNMs are enabled with trusts, so you can go and do BCNMs with trusts. I don't think all of them are active, but I think most of them are. So you can go and try to get a Kraken Club and Up in Arms, I believe. You can go and try to get some Destroyers and Double Dragonian, and you can go in with trusts. I believe the BCNMs are still appropriately level capped, but you can go in with trusts. When you get to level 70 and have to fight Matt, that is one place that trusts are definitely not enabled. I believe that makes it a little bit more of a era-appropriate challenge to beat Matt, and you have to go in there with no trusts and defeat him on your own and do it the real way, basically. Dynamis can be solo farmed, but it's difficult to get wins solo. It is possible to get the wins if you're good and have good gear and you're very, very careful. You can get the win solo for some of the wins. Some of them might be more difficult, but Dynamis can be solo farmed, that is. The drop rate for relic items is pretty high, whether you go and farm all the KIs or not. But it's the currency drops that are really, really boosted when you are able to do the question mark or the exclamation point procking with the different skills and magic and weapon skills when you proc the enemies. Those basically will be boosting the drop rate of the currency, but the actual AF gear is pretty high anyway, so you don't necessarily need to get all those KIs and time extensions to do that. The Sky Gods and H&Ms can be low-manned, like with a group of 6 or maybe even fewer, but you do need some pretty good skill and pretty good gear to do that. They can be done low-man, the Sky Gods especially, but the H&Ms you have to be a little more careful with, but they can be done with a low amount of people. The mission fights for example, Chains of Promethea are not capped, so you can go into Promies at level 50 or 60 or 75 and have a really easy time with those. at level 65 or so, I think a certain skill, I think it's maybe like level 250 skill or so, you'll get a sort of a fake weapon skill. That is the merited weapon skill. For example, for Monk, it is Shijin Spiral. It'll show up in your weapon skill inventory as usable, but it won't actually do any damage, and it won't actually have any properties attached to it. It's just there to kind of tease you. So once you get to 230 and you see those fake weapon skills, you'll need to go back to Atori Totori in Rulud Garden. So basically, your Aeonic weapon skill is unlocked with 300,000 conquest points and all the Dynamis wins, and all the Dynamis city wins, that is, and then 50,000 Esha beads. I've been on this server for 3 weeks or so, a little more than 3 weeks, and I've already gotten like 600,000 conquest points, so it shouldn't be a big deal to accumulate all that. And that doesn't include any Imperial Standing or Allied notes that I've gotten from leveling in different areas. So the Mythic weapon skills are also available. I click Unlocking Mythic weapon skills here, and here's a little guide here. You must have previously done a trial weapon. You must have deposit 200 merit points, do some other stuff, and then basically just follow the guide here. It'll tell you how to do that, but they are available. They aren't as easy as just getting the weapon from Nizal Isle and breaking the weapon. There is some extra hoops to jump through because it's just how they do it in this server. Zenny Notorious Monsters, the ZNMs, they are working for the most part. I believe there's some bugs here and there with them, but they are working in general. And you can check out the custom loot drops here by clicking on the custom loot drops. And it'll go to a spreadsheet here. And you can see here several different high-end Notorious Monsters that drop different items. So, Dynamis Lord past items, Nocturnus Helm, Nocturnus Mail, that type of thing. This boss in one of the bosses here in Dynamis Bastok will drop certain several different items here. Overlord Bakodek, which is the Sandoria boss, it'll drop a bunch of different items there. So because those Dynamis bosses aren't easily soloable, it does require bringing a group in, but there you go. Tiamat, Jormungand, Vertra, Cerberus, Hydra, etc. They all have different custom drops, and a lot of those have the salvage item drops, all the salvage item requirements, like for example the AS Tiara, the Tsukikaku Jinpachi, for example. You just go in this list here, and if all the items you need for the salvage gear, they drop from a specific NM, and they are not necessarily in salvage because I believe salvage is not working on this server. So this page here is going to be very useful because you don't necessarily know right offhand where items come from. You'll want to go to this, refer to this list here and see which item drops from which monster. Several of the VNM from the Wings of the Goddess expansion items, those drop from certain NMs in here too. For example, the Sucker Ring, the Zillant Ring, Vila Ring, those are really high-end. Like this Vila or Strigoi Ring here, for example, is a Strength 6, Attack 3 item. That's going to be super useful, and that's at 75, so it's not very often that you're going to have a Strength 6, Attack 3 ring. And if you want to get that ring, you're going to want to go and kill Agramanu, which is the Dynamis Bosidine boss, and they'll have a chance to drop in that. So these are the custom drop table for a lot of high-end monsters. Another custom feature is the Ancient Beast Coin Exchange items. So there is a NPC called Kumet Ufle, I guess, maybe. And all you have to do is go to this NPC and trade them based on the items on the list here. So if you have COP completed and you want to trade and get an additional ring compared to the one you already got, trade 100 beast coins to him and then he'll just give you that. Assuming that you actually have the COP finished, he'll do that. If you have only Zillart finished, he'll give you the option to get all of these. So you want to trade the Suppa no Mimi. It's not available, at least it wasn't available in the login points for me last month, so I couldn't get that. But I did get the Bushi no Mimi and then the and I believe the Ethereal Ring from the login points, so I don't need to do those. But unless you want to do Divine Might, which is still possible, it still can do. If you don't want to do that, you can trade 250 Ancient Beast Coins to this guy and get the Suppa no Mimi. Same thing with some drops from Absolute Virtue, although those are quite expensive. Arc EV, which is the Trust Arc EV, the Elven Archangel Trust Costs 200 ancient beast coins, and I hear that she is the best tank in the game for trusts, so that's cool. So here's basically the custom list for ancient beast coin exchange items. Also, just another thing, the merits cap at 50. So if you want to go meriting, I believe the cap is 50. I believe that's 50 with the cap increased through merit point accumulation. So I believe it starts maybe at 35 or something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody in the comments. But the initial cap is maybe like 30 or 35 or something, and then you increase your cap through meriting that particular category. And I think the cap itself caps at 50. So last but certainly not least is the free item campaign. The free item campaign is basically a way to ask for any item in the game. That's right, literally any item in the game. As long as it's your first time participating in the campaign, you get to ask for any item. It could be a mythic weapon, it could be a relic weapon, it could be a Kraken Club. Any item in the game that you want, you can ask for this free item campaign. In order to qualify for this, you need to have a level 75 job and have completed rank 10 in any nation missions. So, for example, what I did was I did Bastok to rank 10, I got my Blue Mage to 75, and I asked for a mythic weapon, the Tizona, as my free item. Now, the first time you do this, the first time you participate in the campaigns, which lasts for a couple months, the first time you do it, you can get a mythic weapon or a relic weapon or the Kraken Club or the defending ring. But in subsequent free item campaigns that maybe come around a couple times a year, if you do it, this is your second time or your third time or something doing a free item campaign, you are not allowed to ask for a mythic weapon or a relic weapon or some of those high tier elite weapons. But you can still ask for pretty much any other item for your second time or your subsequent free item campaign item. Currently, the current free item campaign is lasting until October 1st. If you're watching this later, this year is 2022. So if you happen to see this video and want to get a free item, just get your character to rank 10 and level 75, and then go into the Discord and go into the channel that says free item campaign requests, and just put in the item you want, and then when the GM gets around to it, they'll send you that item. But yes, keep in mind it is for a limited time and it doesn't happen all the time. It's from my estimation, it happens only a few times per year, the free item. So there you go. So that'll about wrap it up for this video. Hopefully I've answered most, if not all, of your questions. If you do have more questions or something I didn't quite cover, then check out the wiki page for sure. That will probably have answers to all the questions that you have. So once again, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comments. Check the description for several different links to how to sign up for the server and where to go to get to all this information. And please feel free to ask questions and comment and like and subscribe. And we'll see you in game. Thanks a lot.